Hello, hello. Happy Wednesday. No, it's not Wednesday. It's Tuesday. Goodness. Joys of live video. Hello, everyone. And I am excited to kick off and just share with you a little bit more about the coaching. I got a couple questions, so I'm going to start with those. But if you have other questions, post them in the thread. I can see it as they come in, and I will answer them as we go. So, starting off, I really wanted to build on the question Courtney had asked about our team and just kind of give you that big picture overview that, as you all know, I am Megan Blinka. I am the founder of our team, One Fit Fam. We were a 2015 elite team, which doesn't probably make sense to a lot of you at this point, but just know that that means we were in the top 0.1% of the entire company. It means that we were a group of leaders. It means we helped and inspired a lot of other people, and we grew a team. I grew a team. I helped other people grow a team, and together we earned that title through elite. Rankings come out periodically in this business. We're currently ranked 145 out of 450-ish thousand coaches for the current year. That changes every month depending on how your team does. Everything that you see in terms of rank is a true reflection of not just that individual, but it's what that person does as a team with their team. I think that's very key to note as well. But one of the questions that Courtney had asked was about how the size of our team, how big is it? And it's kind of a dual question. I can tell you that I have about 80 personally sponsored, 80 personally sponsored coaches. Now, these coaches are working coaches. These coaches are hobby coaches that, help maybe 2-3 people each month just to get their Shakeology covered. So it's not necessarily that they're working this business for a full-time thing, but they do it kind of on the side. And then there's obviously the people who work it the way I work it. So there's different levels of coaching, but I have 80 personally sponsored coaches. But here's the cool thing. That was my first drill down. I did a drill down of our team, which is me, my coaches, their coaches, their coaches. And as you kind of look at our whole team in total, 836 coaches as of today. So when you boil that down, while I say I have 80 coaches, I actually don't take on a lot of coaches each month. I have found that in my best, my time management and what I allow for myself, I go for quantity over quality. I want coaches who are in it, who are committed, who, want to make a change and inspire others. And when I think of, and I'm not talking like the people who come on for a discount. That's actually the majority of my customers come on for the discount. But of people who come on to work the business, I'd say I recruit probably 3 to 4 coaches a month, and that's what I feel I can handle because it takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of time when you're just starting out. You have a lot of questions, and I encourage my new coaches to ask questions because, my goodness, this is brand new, and you're not going to learn if you don't ask them. I'd say of my current 80 personally sponsored coaches, about 12 of them work the business. Some more serious than others, but that's kind of a breakdown of my current team. I am a 5-star diamond. So the other question was, what is a diamond coach? I know that those names and terms are kind of thrown around a little bit, but big picture, diamond's like that first step to building a team. Now you can be a coach and have a team built and not be diamond, but diamond basically means not only have you personally sponsored 8 coaches. Again, those coaches can be working coaches. Those coaches can be in there for the discount. But you have at least 8 coaches yourself. And then 2 of your coaches are emeralds, which an emerald coach has 2 coaches. So I'm like, you're probably like, shoo, way over your head. But basically here's you have sponsored 8 coaches. 2 of those decided, hey, maybe I want to do something with this business, and maybe I want to learn a little bit more, and maybe I want to do what you're doing, and they have themselves sponsored 2 coaches. So it's kind of like that start of the team. Once you've done that, you are a diamond coach. Another question that was asked was, big picture, how do you break down your day? How do you, what's work time versus, family time or, other full-time job time? And I think that is definitely going to vary on each individual coach and what you allow yourself to have. I'll give my personal example because that's all I can really give at this point, is that when I first started coaching, I didn't know what I really wanted to do at first. In all honesty, I knew that I could save 25% on Shakeology. That was a big thing for me because I was a stay-at-home mom with no income. So to me, just that simple savings of 25% was huge. But it grew from there. And as I decided I wanted to do it more with the business, I started dedicating more time. Now, my time now is spent very differently than it was in the beginning. My time now is spent, creating content for my team and for my challenge groups, creating blog posts to share, whether it's sharing my personal journey, sharing recipes. I spend a lot of my time doing that, spending my time helping my team, helping my coaches, helping my challengers. But when I started, I didn't have a team. I didn't have a pile of challengers that I worked with every month. So when I first got started, my time was really, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, maybe an hour a day, and it was spent really YouTubing. I Googled a lot of stuff. I, kind of found out who were some of the leading coaches I knew in my upline. I have my downline that some of you who are watching this are a part of, but then there was my upline, and I knew that there were people who've already gone before me that figured this out. And it was my goal to learn from them so that I wasn't recreating anything, and I wanted to duplicate their success. And that's really what I try to emulate for my team, is that I've learned a lot over these last 2.5 years, and the last thing I want you to do is A, make the mistakes I've made, and B, do anything that I've already created, unless of course you want to. But I always, we share a lot in our team. We have files. I have, just tons of information that I share with my coaches. You can, in the beginning, I didn't know how to run a challenge group. I ran my challenge group with my coach. I had, 2 people, or I had 1 person my very first month. My second month, I had 4 challengers, I believe. One of which actually finished the challenge group. So it was a rocky start at first, but I joined my coach with the challenge group. So she shared her guide with me that allowed me to kind of get some ideas of what to even post. I knew what I did at my challenge group, so how do I show other people that same thing? So we share a lot on our team. So my time in the beginning was, I would lay on the couch while my husband would watch TV, and I would just kind of look at stuff and read stuff and search. And I got to the point that I knew that I wanted to do something more with this, and that came with the 5 a.m. wake-up calls. Now, I'm not saying you have to do a 5 a.m. wake-up call to be successful or to build this business, but for me, my kids didn't sleep well. They didn't nap during the day. I knew I wasn't going to get any other time to get work in. Short, and they were little, like now they're 5 and 3, but when I started this, Colton was 9 months old, and Aubrey was, what would that have made her? Just shy of 3, 2.5. Going on 3. So they weren't at an age where I could, do any sort of work while they were there. They needed my full attention, and that was my job. My job was to be mom first. So I started getting up early. I would get up at 5 and I would do my workout first thing, and then I would work. I would check in with my challenge groups. I would create images to share through my social media, and that was really how I got started. And then when they woke up, it was kind of like pencils down, on the rare. My little one napped occasionally. Aubrey didn't. But sometimes we would do quiet time. She would get a movie. I would, listen to a call or do some work during that time. And then it was, once they went to bed, I would sit in the study. And I found that once I worked from my computer versus my phone, I was far more efficient. And as the months have gone by and my goals have changed, the hours that I've put into the business changed, and the way I go about it changed. Now, to the question of, do your families ever get irritated with your nose being in a smartphone? Common question, great question, and I would think most Beachbody coach families probably say that is a thing, and that's something my husband and I talk about often. But we have communication about it, because it's a totally different business. And we were just talking about it last night, 2 nights ago, because my daughter came out of her room and I couldn't find my husband, and then my son came out of the room and I was bouncing between the two of them. I didn't know where he went, and I was like, we have a new role that whenever, until both kids are sound asleep, no one can disappear. And he's like, yeah, that's you. You're the one that has the calls. And I'm like, but this is my work. Like, this is, we chose a non-traditional lifestyle because we have non-traditional goals and dreams that we're working towards. So while I am, fortunate enough to be home with my kids during the day, I've explained that to them. Like, I explained that to Aubrey that, mommy goes to bed, or mommy, you need to go to bed because mommy needs to work, and mommy can't work till you go to bed. But this is when I get stuff done, because otherwise, you would have to go to a babysitter during the day so that I could work if I had a traditional job. But that's not what we have, and we need to make this lifestyle work. So Aubrey's now at an age, at 5, that I can explain those things to her a little bit more, where she understands, yes, mommy works, but she knows mommy's a Beachbody coach. She knows what I does. If I'm on a call, she'll ask me, is that one of your coaches? And she's at a point where I get to, teach her what I do, and it's pretty cool. I like to be able to explain to her what I do and how it's not like the other kids' parents' jobs, and that I am home, but that it's still work, and we need to set those boundaries. I'm not going to say it always works well. I have business hours. Summer was a little crazy just because there was no school. So things were a little hectic and very fly by the seat of our pants. But now that school is in, when my son starts his preschool next Tuesday, so I do have set days, where I've set aside time, where I have at least 2 hours Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday in the mornings to work my business without my children. That's not counting my get up at 5, get my workout in, and do that stuff. This is my time to build my content. That my goal is to be able to have Monday through Thursday consistently, which I've never had without having my kids, to where I can then spend more time in the evenings, not doing calls. To be honest, the way I have my schedule, and because we are part of a large organization, you have me, if you're, one of mine, I'm your coach, but then we're part of a Team Forever Fit, and those team calls are every Thursday. My team calls are Tuesday at this time, 9 o'clock. And then we're part of Forever Fit on Thursdays. Her calls are at 8:30. And then we're part of the Dream Team, which is the number one team in the entire company. Those calls are Monday. I have always found a lot of value in listening to those calls. Again, like I said, these people have done it. They've been through it before. They know what to expect, and they know how they can help you. I listen. When someone tells me what to do, I do it. And that's how I've gone about this whole business from the beginning, is I listen to what the leaders tell me. When they tell me what to do, when they tell me how to embrace changes in social media, I go about it. So I value those calls. They're all recorded. You can listen to them at any time. I have a coach who never gets on a live call, listens to them the next morning on her way to work. That's how she maximizes her time. So kind of long-winded answer as to, do your family get upset with it? Sure, it's a struggle trying to balance a business that you work from your phone. I know in the beginning, and still now, when I have somebody that messaged me and says, hey, I'm ready, can you help me? I want to drop everything. Yes, absolutely, I can help you. And it's hard for me to realize that, if I wait an hour until my kids are in bed, that person's still going to be there and ready and willing. But that's on me. That's on me to control and to limit and to set those boundaries. So I don't know that I gave you a clear-cut answer as to, scheduling out your time. But I'd say it's a work in progress. And the biggest thing is to be open about what you're doing and why. And you can see behind me this board I hosted a leadership retreat for some of my diamond coaches and talked about diamonds. I did a diamond retreat last weekend in Deep Creek, Maryland, and one of the activities we did was made vision boards. And I felt that the vision boards were so important, because not only does it make you sit down and think about what you want to do with this and where do you want to go and what are your goals, and I mean, there's family on there, there's personal, there's business, but it also allows me to have something that my husband can see. And last night, one of the things on here is no phone from 5 to 8. My husband was in here looking at it, and then, shortly after, it was in between 5 and 8, and he looked at me and said, "It's phone out of your hand. It's your goal. No phone 5 to 8. So it allows us to stay on the same page. And it also, we know that there's times that are busier. There's times where there's, deadlines, and there's goals that I'm shooting for, and he knows that he might have to do a little bit more. But he has seen this full circle, and he has seen what it's been able to do for us, and for our family and our future, to where, typically it goes pretty well, because he understands why I'm working the way I am, and why I, spend my nights sitting in my study when he's out there watching TV, because we've chosen to give up this time now together for a future that we've dreamt of. So that's my long-winded answer there. Another question, sorry, I need a drink. Another question I got, someone had messaged me, was, do you have to be at your goal weight to start as a coach? Common question, don't get me wrong. I hear that one a lot, but I'll be honest, I almost feel like it makes you more relatable when you're not at your goal weight. Because sometimes, I remember my sister had made the comment to me after I had, been coaching for a little while, and I had invited somebody to a challenge group, and they ignored me, and I'm like, okay. And I was talking to my sister about it, and she goes, honestly, I'd be intimidated by you. And I was like, why? Like, why would you be intimidated by me? Like, what's to be intimidated about? And she's like, you look like you're Superman, like you're super fit, you do all these things, and and she's started rattling it off, and I'm like, okay, I see, like, outside looking in, how that could kind of come across that way, but it helped me be in that perspective that where I was at that time wasn't where a lot of people are. So when you're not at your goal weight, it gives you an opportunity to simply invite people to join you, to say, hey, I started with this, I saw what it could do in 21 days, I saw what it did in 2 months, and I'm loving it, but I now want to help other people do it, because I can't believe what it's done for me and my life and my family and my outlook and the way I feel and my confidence and whatever it's done for you. And that's really how you get started in the business, is simply sharing what it's done for you, how it's impacted you, and inviting other people to join with you. So no, far and away, you do not have to be at your goal weight to be a successful coach. And some of the most successful coaches have been the ones who started when they were brand new in their journey, but they shared it. They shared the good, the bad, the ugly, and have continuously progressed and gone back and progressed and invited people along the way, and they have successful coaching businesses. So definitely don't have to be at your goal weight to be a successful coach. Another question I got was, do you feel that the market is saturated with coaches? This again it's a common question, and I definitely have seen this, kind of start to kind of ripple up, like, is it saturated? But I think you have to kind of take a step back, and it was shared with us at our coach summit in Nashville. The obesity rate in America is ridiculous, like over 50%. And I apologize, I should have looked up the exact number. But I have a slide, I have a picture of it that I took, that I will post in this group when I'm done. But it's an astronomically high, hundreds of thousands of people who are obese just in the United States. Is this company hoping to go international? Yes, they are. That is the hope. That is, that will be at some point. It's not on a timeline right now, but just in the U.S. and Canada, it's over over 50% of the people are obese. So, well, you may know other Beachbody coaches, and you may think, oh, I don't know, like, if you were in a sorority, maybe you have sorority sisters who are, or you have a family member who is, or a cousin, and you may think, like, there's enough of them already. There's not enough, because there's far too many people who are still obese and overweight, and the childhood obesity rate is rising. And that is what we're here to do. Like, we can do a lot of stuff as coaches. We can help ourselves, we can help our family, we can help our friends, but there's a bigger picture at hand, and there is such a problem with the way the portion sizes. Heck, that's where the portion fix came from, because portion sizes are so bad. They're so big here in the U.S. They just are so bad. So I know that it's kind of it's a common thought, and it's easy to think, like, oh, there's too many other coaches, I could never do this. But yes, you could. I will tell you, the majority of coaches who have joined me in the last year and a half have been people I've met through social media. They weren't people I knew. They weren't people I went to school with. Yes, that is how I got started. The people that I knew, on a personal level, that was the start of my business for sure. But now it's not at all. They're people I met through, that read a blog post of mine, that felt connected to me, that reached out to me. There are people who followed me on Instagram, whether it was because of my fitness videos or my pictures with my kids or whatever it was. They started following me, and they saw it, and they joined me through that. So, it's not a saturated market at all. There's far too many people that need our help. That should never hinder you from that decision to become a coach. Another question I got was your social media presence and how that plays into your role as a coach. I will share that I was not very active on Facebook before I became a coach. If anyone has the little baby blocks with your kids that you do with your kids as they progress through, that's what I did. Every Friday was when my son went from 1 week to 2 weeks to 3 weeks to 4 weeks. So every Friday I posted a picture of him, and that was like the last year of me on Facebook, was me posting his weekly pictures. I didn't even post that much of my daughter beforehand, because I was one of those people who silently scrolled Facebook. I scrolled, I never liked, I never commented, I read, I knew what was going on, like I knew what was going on in my friends' lives, I knew what was going on in my family's life, but I didn't like or comment on anything because I thought that would mean that I had far too much time on my hand that I was scrolling Facebook. And I know there's people who are listening to this thinking, yep, I scroll a lot of Facebook and I never comment and I never like anything, but I'm seeing what they're saying. That was me on Facebook before I became a coach. Now, again, I looked at what people told me to do. People said, you got to share your journey on Facebook. You got to share it through social media. It doesn't have to be Facebook, it could be Instagram. But you got to share it. So when I said, okay, I'm gonna make my goal to make enough money to pay for my Shakeology, and I knew that I had to start sharing it, I just went for it. I had the attitude that there's nothing I'm sharing that's inappropriate, that's vulgar, that's wrong in any way. I'm sharing positive, uplifting, motivational quotes and, my day and my workouts. There's nothing no one can be offended by this. I'm just going to start sharing it. And I've always kept it positive. I've always kept it clean. And, I've shared from day one. And now, I get the time hop on my phone. And for the last 2.5 years, you'll see my workout of what I did, and typically something inspirational if it's not looped in with my workout picture. But I've posted every day for the last 2.5 years. So while I wasn't on social media, I do believe that you need to get over that fear if you're not currently using it. And it doesn't have to be like, you might look at what I post now and be like, that's not me and I couldn't post like her. You post like you. People know you and they know your style, and you don't have to do it the way somebody else does, but you do have to be out there. And if you don't post a lot, I went from posting once or twice a week to every day, but I posted usually something motivational, fitness, and my kids. I would do 3 posts a day, something of what we were doing. I was home with my kids, so they're little. I don't know if you have little kids, I feel like there's always something to share because they're crazy. They say the funniest things. And even if you're just home all day long, there's something that has been done or can shared, or craft that you can share with other people or something. So that was kind of, I slowly progressed. And once I got comfortable posting on Facebook, I added an Instagram account, and I just posted the exact same thing, Instagram to Facebook. And then I realized that as I was growing my challenge groups, there was a lot of information that I felt like I was saying over and over, and recipes that I was typing up over and over and over again. And I eventually created a blog. My blog was not fancy. It's still not fancy now, but it was bare bones in the beginning. It was purely information to give a link to my challengers. And I built that over time. Again, as my goals changed in my business, and as I grew, and as I decided to dedicate more time into, working, the things that I was doing changed along with that. So you don't need to have a huge social media presence to get started, but I do believe you need to get comfortable using social media, whether it's Snapchat, Twitter, Instagram, a blog, something that you can start sharing what you're doing. Because I've found people who I thought for sure would have joined me from the get-go, they ignore my posts, they have nothing to do with it, they're not interested at all. But it's the people who I never would have thought to actually reach out to, that reach out to me like, hey, I saw what you're doing, can you help me, So sharing it publicly allows you to attract and kind of connect with people who you wouldn't otherwise connect with. I wanted to check my computer real quick. I feel like I saw a question come through. Maybe not. Maybe I was wrong. All right. Okay, so those were all the questions that I had. Those were the questions I had written down. So if you have any other questions, I don't see anything else in the group. If you have anything else, give it a second, a minute. You can post in this thread or post in the group. I have both up. I would happily look at them. Kind of while you guys are thinking, real quick, just touching on kind of, where to go from here. So, there was a lot of information shared today. A lot of videos were shared. You heard, more information on, how people got started. You heard their stories. You may have shed a tear or two. If you've watched them all already, you learned a little bit more about how you make income. And there's so much more about that. But I want to share that one of the things that I feel makes our team unique is that we work together through training. And it doesn't just start with, once you come on as a coach, I have an informational packet that kind of gets you started, and we progress through different trainings. And as you build your business, we continuously train. I'm in training groups. I not only run groups, but I participate in them because I feel like it's kind of like, always be a student. I never stop learning. And a lot of people start this business just because they want a discount. That was me. I needed the discount. I could not physically pay for this without the discount. Every dollar mattered, and that was what got me started in it. But once I saw the potential and I knew that I could do this, it was kind of that, like, I watched other people do it. And I tell my coach this. My coach was a mom of two. I knew her from college. I participated in a challenge group, and I remember looking at my husband saying, she's a fit mama too. I want to be a fit mom of two, and I can do what she's doing. I'm in our challenge group. I know. Now, mind you, I didn't know much about the business at that point, but I watched it and I felt that I could do it. I believed in myself from the beginning, and while I started as somebody who wanted to have a discount, I progressed to somebody who wanted to pay for my Shakeology and then make enough to pay for my husband's, and it's grown from there. So it doesn't matter necessarily your intentions. Point being, it can change along the way. But the potential is limitless if you go for it. Courtney, question, how do you recruit people to coach if you are not big on Facebook? Yes, I know you are new to the Facebook world. Growing your network. So one of the things that is part of my daily to-dos is I add friends. I add friends of friends. I use my like page also to network with other people and meet other people. But it all comes from, one of the things we go through in the training group is we talk about the importance of connecting with people. So just the way Facebook works, you don't see what other people share on Facebook unless you're interacting with them. Like if you have 100 friends on Facebook, you might see 5 or 10 people post, just because there's algorithms that I don't really understand, but there's algorithms in Facebook that determine what posts show up in newsfeed. And you might see, if you liked my posts, then my post will start showing up in your feed more subsequent. And also, on the other end, if I start liking yours are going to show up in my feed more. So those are the start. The question to get started is building your network, adding friends, which was something I never used to do. I never hit add friend because I thought that meant it was like I was stalking somebody, or, why are you adding me as a friend when you don't really know me? But what I've come to realize is Facebook, I feel like the term, we're Facebook friends used to be used so lightly, but that's truly a thing now. People connect on Facebook. It's a way to connect. It's a way to connect with your kids, classmates, their moms in school, to plan things. Once you know someone, you just send them a friend request. So I kind of got over the fear of hit add friend, and I started connecting with people and then just reaching out to them. A lot of it, reaching out to people who I went to high school with, it is, saying, hey, how are you? I haven't talked to you for a while. I saw you have a little girl. How old is she? Just connecting. A lot of my stuff is moms. A lot of the people who are on my team are moms. That's what I am. You attract what you are for the most part. There's some loopholes in there, but for the most part, you attract people who are similar to you. So that's really the beginning. It's connecting with people. Before you start, recruiting, hey, I'm doing this, you've got to start building those relationships, because nobody's going to trust you or want to join you when they haven't talked to you in 10 plus years. The other thing, so someone sent me a friend. That was the other thing. Someone used to send me a friend request. I was either hesitant to accept it, or if I did, I was I don't know, I would just ignore that person. Where now, I got a friend request from a girl, and she, she sent me the friend request. I accepted it, and then I went ahead and sent her a message right away. And I was like, hey, thanks for the friend request. You're, I think it's just a girl from church. And I was like, hey, you go to Immaculate Conception, right? I see you there. How are you, or something? And then I was like, how old are your girls? And I started my conversation with her that way. So I've yet to say a word to this girl about Beachbody or anything, but I just connected with her. So it's not just sending friend requests, but acknowledging that you've sent the new friend request and connecting with them on some level. And if you're sharing your journey on your Facebook wall or Instagram or whatever you're doing, if you're sharing that anyways, people start to see it. Again, once you interact with them, whether it's through messages or through their posts, then they'll start to see your stuff. So while it starts out, you're just connecting with them, they'll start to see what you're sharing. And, whether it's you reaching out to them, or you talk about your upcoming group, or you talk about an open book look into Beachbody, that's why we really started doing these types of events because it's an easier way to share what it's like, it kind of like all at once, kind of give people the opportunity to tune in and listen and see more about what it's like without having to be like pressured into anything. So that is kind of my initial tip on recruiting. Again, there's to build a team, like as you build the business, it's built on recruiting for sure. And that's certainly a topic we hit on heavily throughout the different trainings, as you progress through. Lexi, do you have to do the monthly Beachbody Live program? Wait, do you have to do the Beachbody monthly to be a coach? Oh, you can do whatever program you want. I've bounced around. I've done 21 Day Fix. I don't know how many times. I've done PIO many, many times. I do the new programs so that I can talk about them. So from my point of view, I need to be able to answer people's questions. When a new program comes out and somebody says, "What's it like?" I need to answer. I need to say, "This is what it's like." So size was not my thing. I know it's your thing. Size was not my thing. So I did not do size in the entirety. I never had a size transformation because I didn't complete it. I would do like the size calendar. I would do like Monday, Tuesday. It was like the same workout, I think, back-to-back days. That allowed me to sample the workouts and be able to answer questions about it. I didn't love it, but I shared it, and I had people who liked it, so I wanted to be able to talk about it. But you can do whatever you want. I highly recommend at some point you do and know and you're familiar with the 21 Day Fix, because it's like, to me, that's the gateway program. That's the program that most people start with because most people need help with the nutrition. 21 Day Fix is broad enough that it gives you that variety of strength training, cardio, yoga, Pilates, and it helps you with your nutrition. So I'd say probably 90% of people that I work with from a customer coaching point start with 21 Day Fix. And that's what most people that you would bring on would start with as well. But then, you'll get to a point eventually where you want to change it up, and then like that'll give you an opportunity to try other things. But with on demand, with the on-demand, you can sample so many programs. So obviously there's tons on there already in their entirety. The whole P90X series, T25 and Hammer and Chisel were just added. There's so many programs on there already. But there's, one 21 Day Fix, one 21 Day Fix Extreme, one PIO, one Max 30. So you can still try those programs to see what they are and still be able to talk about them or ask in the team pages, what they're like if you have questions about them. But as far as, because we don't even get a new program. We don't get a new program every month. Country Heat came out, for August, and then there's the yoga on demand. There's the 3-week yoga retreat in September. There won't be anything in October. There's Core de Force in November. There probably won't be anything December, January. I don't know. There's nothing else scheduled to come out at this point. So, there's usually 3 or 4 a year. So you certainly don't have to do whatever comes out. I just like to do it to kind of embrace the change. How many people do you have to coach before your Shakeology is paid for? So there's different ways to look at it. We talked about in the income side where, once you start building a team, you get what's called cycle bonuses. But big picture, the easy way to look at it is if you brought on 3 people a month, new people, what you would make off of their challenge packs would cover your monthly Shakeology, roughly speaking. So like the majority of challenge packs, especially right now, like this month, all the promotions that were on for August are extended into September. There's 15 challenge pack promotions. 21 Day Fix, Fix Extreme, PIO, 22-minute Hardcore, Country Heat, all of those available with Shakeology, all of them available with Shakeology and the refresh. In addition, the refresh by itself, the on-demand challenge pack, those are all in promotion right now. Well, the regular program Shakeology 140, add the refresh with the program, it's 180. But those have all been extended into September. So you would make $40. If you had somebody come order a 21 Day Fix challenge pack, your commission on that would be $40. If you got 3 people next month, you would make $120, and your Shakeology with the discounts $115-ish, depending on where you live and local taxes, but roughly $115. So 3 new people. Now, if you don't make commission off your coaches, you just get volume. So it gets more complicated, but if you brought on 3 new people a month, that would at least cover your Shakeology. And then if they were discount coaches or coaches, you would start building volume, and you could additionally cycle through the bonuses as well. And if you want a more detailed explanation on that, I would be happy to give you one. It just, the cycling part gets kind of confusing. It's more one of those, like I need like a whiteboard and draw you a little picture to try to explain it all. But what I like to share, big picture, is 3 new people a month would cover your cost. So yeah, so that's, just my computer went to sleep. Just want to double check, make sure nothing came through on here. And I don't see anything. Nothing coming up. All right. Well, thank you all. I appreciate you tuning in. This video, this group will remain open. I am starting a new coach training group on the 6th. I'll give you Labor Day off. I'm going to start it on the 6th. So big picture, when somebody signs up with me, I start with, I have a new coach welcome email that I'll send to everybody, and that's really what gets people started. It kind of gives you some first to-dos, like just setting things up in the back office. And then I have a self-paced training thing. I had somebody sign up the other night. She did the training, and I think I sent it to her at 10 o'clock. She sent me her response back at like 12:45. She's like, I finished it. There are videos, information, things to watch. It could take you a day or 2 or 3 or 4. Clearly, it could take you a couple hours at night. It doesn't matter. But those are the things, kind of like, let's say prerequisites, but just like the general information that I don't feel is necessary for a group. And then I start my group on the 6th. And that's where we kind of pull together. And the point of the group is to help you help others, to help you get your, get your 3 people to join you in like the next group. So like as of now, like my calendar runs the same every month. I'll have my new group starting on the 6th for coaches, but then my challenge group will start the 19th. So that allows any new coaches who join us to invite and join with my group so that you're not running your group on your own. So it kind of gives you 2 weeks to get, out there, get inviting, get sharing your journey and talking to people who might want to join you. And then my group would start the 19th, and I always open that up to my new coaches as well. So, all right. Anything else? I will save this. The group will be open. So if anything else comes up, I get notifications for the group. So just please, please, please post them. Shoot me a message. I appreciate you all tuning in and hanging with us tonight. And I hope you have a good night. All right. Bye.